crypto warriors, changing our world day by day. The way of the crypto warriors, can't rely on the bankers, no way.
Good morning, Bix Weir, roadroad.com with your morning horners. These are your sip of chaga coffee. Still recuperating from the month-long adventure. It's amazing how, as you get older, it takes longer to recuperate. But that's where I am. Amy and I are just hanging out. Lots to do when you're gone a month. It's a lot to get back in line with your life. So I'm not bitching. I had an amazing time. One of those times that you like look back on your life and say, what are the cool things I did, and that would definitely be one of them. And we will do it again at some point. I don't know if I'd go out for a month, but we will see as the world turns. And this world is turning, and it's crazy, and nothing makes sense, and it's not supposed to make sense. Everything is a lie. Everything is a cheat. Everything is for a reason, from the good guys to the bad guys to the battle to your monetary system to gold and silver to the stock market, the bond market. It's all rigged all the time at all times. So close your eyes. Close your eyes. Silver is trading at $20.54. It should be trading at $20,540. $20,540. $20.50 is ridiculous. There's no other way to say it. The criminality within our government can be obviously seen now. Nobody believes in the Justice Department. Nobody believes in the White House, Congress, and wait till the newly appointed tens of thousands of IRS agents start knocking on everybody's door. It's coming to head. Trust in everything will be gone. That's why cryptos are so important for our future, because you don't have to trust anything but math. And that's just gigantic. I do think that the future is going to be absolutely rosy. No more debt, life without debt. You'll lose all your savings account, your checking account, your 401k. They'll nationalize all the mining companies will be nationalized. SLV, all the ETFs will be nationalized. It's in the name of fairness. That's why the U.S. Mint has stopped making the silver and gold eagles for the most part, and put Vitris Gibson as the head of the Mint, an HR lifer. She's always been an HR, human resources, and if you're going to wind down a certain area, at least for a time, you put an HR person as the head. There's no other reason. The U.S. Mint cannot give a reason why, at one of the most important times for gold and silver, they are stopping making the gold and silver eagles. I think gold, they announced a 50% reduction, and silver is right now, I think we're on track to be about an 80% reduction in the amount of eagles that they could make. They could make over 50 million eagles a year, easily. I feel bad for the U.S. Mint employees, because there's good employees there. They're just run by criminals. It's a lot of what's going on right now. There's good people in the FBI. It's just run by criminals. There's not good people in Congress or the White House, but other than that, there's good people underneath that are just completely scratching their heads. And don't scratch your head anymore. Make your voice be heard. If you work for the U.S. Mint, tell the world what's going on. You're ready to make silver and gold eagles. It's just the U.S. government will not allow it. It's part of the transition to this new system. So if you have U.S. Mint coinage, don't sell it. Do not sell it. I spent some time with my good friend Andy Scheckman in the car. He was telling us about Jim Sinclair's discussions years ago with someone in the know, and they were like, there's going to be two resets. One's a man-made one, and one's organic. And the organic one will be a return to gold and silver coinage as money. So the U.S. Mint will have to start minting U.S. coins. I think they already have. I think there's massive warehouses all over the place. But it will be gold. I guess it will be silver, but they're going to have to, put those values at a different number than 80 to 1. Right now, I think the gold eagle's valued at $50 and the silver eagle's valued at $1. This is real dollars, not Federal Reserve notes. I think that will have to change as well massively. I think they need to take the dollar amount. Well, you don't know. You don't know. There's massive amounts of gold. The ratio of 50 to 1, it just makes it hard to believe that silver will be used as money. There's just not enough in it, and it's needed in other places. And one of the key aspects to gold and silver, to any precious metal coinage, is that coinage can never be worth less than the melt value. So if you stamp $1 on it, and it's worth one Federal Reserve note dollar, people would just hang on to it, take it out of circulation, or if industrial needs are high enough for the physical metal, they'll just melt it down. It is, yes, absolutely 100% illegal to melt down U.S. mint coinage. I would like to know from the powers that be what happened to all the silver eagles that JPMorgan had been buying during their times of accumulated 1.2 billion ounces. Did they? Ted Butler was saying they melted U.S. eagles back into COMEX bars. Now, if that is true, and it should be easily traced, the U.S. Mint has exactly how many millions of ounces of physical silver eagles that JPMorgan took off the market. They know that exact number because JPMorgan was an authorized dealer. And that's how they got so much. Remember the Eagle program was just going crazy from like 2008 to 2016 when they were rigging the price? That was JPMorgan. They didn't have a hard time finding the blanks when JPMorgan was taking physical delivery of their 1.2 billion ounces of silver. But now that the people are waking up, a little late, but now that they're waking up, all of a sudden the U.S. Mint is having problems, all kinds of problems, and can't produce in quantities to meet demand. But if it was JPMorgan, they can. That's the criminality we're dealing with. And that's why we have to throw out our government. Hopefully they'll retain some good employees still at the U.S. Mint. And Beatrice Gibson, I think, is put there to, I don't know what she's telling the people of the Mint. But I haven't heard of layoffs. How dare them? This is the money of the United States of America. And they're stopping the people, we the people, from, it's horrific what the United States government has turned into. Anyway, yep, hang on to your gold and silver eagles. If you don't have any, you're going to pay through the roof to get them. I'm hearing premiums $13, $14 over spot. It's just shocking. That's, over 60% premium you're paying for a coin. I wouldn't be buying eagles and pre-65 coinage right now, but that doesn't mean it's not going to go up even more, the premiums, as the old system dies and we transition into gold and silver as money. Because remember, gold, the money of the metal money has to, by definition, be more valuable than the melt value of the underlying base metal. Now, is it going to be $15, $16 higher? Probably. And will that, just think about it. With silver, the premiums in gold are not like that at all. The premiums in gold are just a fractional percentage. So it's a percentage that's, I don't even know what it is, right? 5 or 10%. No, I don't even think it's that high. It's 2 or 3%. But in silver, the number one metal to take down the banking cabal, they are so short of silver, the premiums have to go over 60% for silver eagles and pre-65 coinage. Remember, they're making no more pre-65 coinage. If people are taking orders for you for pre-65 and that they don't have, and they say, it'll be about a month out, you'll never see that pre-65 coinage. Why? Because they're not making anymore, and it relies on somebody selling. And who in their right mind would sell pre-65 coinage right now? The most important time. If they're obviously in their right mind because they own it, they have physical possession of it. That's the other thing. All these coin dealers at some point are not going to be selling at all. Andy Schectman's going to hang on to his inventory as the price starts going crazy because you won't know what to price it at. You don't want to get rid of it. He'll have some good customers, probably road-to-roota customers that take care of you. But I wouldn't blame him if he cut everybody off today. You should already have your silver in your own possession. You should already be sitting there watching the insanity of $20 silver and $35 American Eagles. That's insane. But you should already have it. You should be sitting on the sidelines watching this game. You're too late otherwise. And you want to do it today? Yes. Call Andy, ask what he's got in inventory, and have him ship it to you. Send Andy an email. Send it to info at milesfranklin.com. You don't have any time left. Say, hey, Bix says I don't have any time left. What can I buy in physical silver that can get shipped to my house before the whole shit falls apart? I'd say stick with what you got in inventory, low denomination. I don't like any silver over 10 ounces. Why? Because when silver goes to $10,000 an ounce, and you have a 1,000-ounce bar or a 100-ounce bar, a 100-ounce bar at $10,000 an ounce is $1 million. Who's going to buy a bar of silver for $1 million? Who's got $1 million lying around, right? You're going to have to probably melt that bar down, and that's a lot of cost. Because you don't know what's inside it, true. That's another big thing. So, please get your physical silver in your own possession. I know I'm a broken record player when it comes to this, but those who have done it understand it and know why and can rest easy and watch the insanity of a out of control system spiraling downward. Those of you technical traders, silver is still way below the 100 and 200-day moving averages, tech funds. It's all bullshit. You know that. The whole commitment of traders report is all bullshit. Both sides of that equation. The commercials, which is the banks, right? And then the managed money is like BlackRock and shit like that. That'll take losses here and then take other gains in different places. And they collude with the banks. This whole JPMorgan show, I don't even know what you call it. The two traders that got nailed for rigging the gold market and silver market is ridiculous. Oh, the guy hurt his finger from tapping a button. Give me a freaking break. JPMorgan employs 50,000 computer programmers. You can't think that they can program in a trading program that does it for you in milliseconds? It's just stupid. The whole concept. You're supposed to be looking over here when the real crimes are happening over here. Vincent Viola, the head of Virtu Financial, high-frequency trading market maker for SLV and on the COMEX. They're coordinating, hey, JPMorgan, okay, you're going to take $1 billion hit in silver, but that's all right. We'll give you $1 billion over in copper over here. BlackRock, you're going to make $1 billion off here, but then we're going to give it back to you in corn futures over here. It's all programmed in. It was programmed in 3 months ago. Don't worry about it. Welcome to America. America. Vincent Viola. Remember that name when the congressional hearings happen. Why did the system collapse? He'll be dragged in front of Congress. Should be, at least. Same with the mastermind of gold and silver manipulation from JPMorgan. Miss Blythe Masters. You don't hear anything about the boss of these guys who are going to jail. How many times can we do a regulator's job for them? I've written. Let's take a look. Let's go to roadtoruler.com and take a look at. Go to the search function. Click on search and click in Blythe. Blythe. See how many times on the road to Ruta, and I stopped writing articles literally 4 years ago when I got on YouTube. But let's see how many times Blythe Masters during that whole criminal episode did I discuss her. 67 full articles on Blythe Masters. Silver manipulation, calling out Blythe Masters. Look at all this. There's so much on this woman. All the links. The shocking truth, the history. JPMorgan's Operation Silver Slam. So much. If you want to know how Silver Slams work, go to JPMorgan Operation Silver Slam by Bix Weir. I wrote this when the 2011 Silver Slam was going on. I showed them how they did it in natural gas, and they did the exact same thing to silver. They let it rise. They put their man, Bill Daley, as Obama's chief of staff. Silver was $20. They let it run to $50 to get all the weak hands in, and then they slammed it down, creating an artificial bear market. And I outlined it literally. Look at all. There's Bill Murphy talking about it. There's Bill Daley, the head of Jamie Dimon's SWAT team. And literally, this guy went to the White House for one goal in 2011, to rig the silver market lower. And meanwhile, while they were rigging it lower, JP Morgan was filling up its coffers with Silver Eagles and Comex bars, SLV bar, everything. You name it, they were taking it. And they ended up with they got rid of their short position and 1.2 billion ounces of physical. How'd they get rid of their short position? They just told Vincent Viola, hey, okay, we're going to get in trouble for this. We need to get out of our short position. We program in for us. Or maybe even Blythe was smart enough to hire some computer riggers in that area. It's all here. It's all there at the Road to Ruta if you're interested. This is nothing new. There's nothing new under the sun. Blythe Masters belongs in jail. Is she in jail? I don't know. Was she taken out when she all of a sudden disappeared from the crypto world? I don't know. Should have been. Yeah. Anyway, lots of news out there about failing financial system. Even though you turn on the TV, you look at the stock market, and that's how people judge. And their houses. Now their houses are starting to fall, so they're starting to sweat. But that's how they're going to judge everything, is by what the TV says in the stock market. Credit Suisse weighs break with trading unit that minted billions. New CEO tasked with cutting risks from securitized debt trading, but that may mean giving up the firm's standout units. So Credit Suisse bought a lot of the shit from the 2008 crash. The mortgage-backed securities, they bought $27 billion from Fannie Mae, and basically sliced and diced it. Did the same thing that everybody was doing beforehand. Put good shit mortgages, fake mortgages in with the good mortgages, and sell it off as a securitized debt instrument. And voila, you can make money. The problem is, at the end of the day, you're going to be ending up with a lot of the shit, and that's what they got right now. So they're saying, oh, well, we made so much money because they brought all the sweet parts of those transactions, they brought them forward in their earnings. So now they're stuck with a dog, and they're trying to get rid of it, is what's really happening. So keep an eye on Credit Suisse. Then the student loan debacle. I mean, the student loans are the largest debt of the United States of America, 1.3 trillion, I think, right now. Individual debt type of thing. I mean, as a whole program, everything's debt, like Social Security, Medicare, that blows all that out of the water. But turns out that we talked about this briefly, the student loans were not a multi-billion-dollar profit center for the U.S. Right now, if people started paying again, we would lose about $197 billion. But we have an election coming up. So the end of this month, the end of August, I think, is when the first payment is due again for student debt. I don't know anybody who plans on paying it. As a matter of fact, Joe Biden will, I guarantee you, at a minimum, extend the extend the non-payment payment forgiveness thing for longer because we have an election coming. Now, I don't think he'll be able to say, okay, this is forgiven. They could. And all it means is you, the taxpayer, have to, what you've paid for is the student debt of graduate students in trigender study bullshit. And it makes you want to just not pay your taxes anymore. And I think that's where we are going ultimately. We're just going to stop. Again, if one or two people stop, you're screwed. If everybody stops, they're screwed. So China is learning that lesson over at Evergrande. One of the decade's hottest bond market is imploding in China. When you don't pay your debt, you can't issue more debt. And that's the problem now is the Chinese bond market is just literally falling apart. Nobody's paying their mortgages. But the rating agencies aren't telling anybody with Evergrande to take the hit, 100% hit on your debt and your Evergrande debt. So we'll see what happens. It's still evolving. It changes every day. Interesting. Here's a little background. When investor demand for Chinese property debt was approaching its peak back in 2018, a banker could put together the makings of a multi-million-dollar deal during a Saturday boat trip around Hong Kong's harbor and barely look up from her drink while doing it. Now, the $203 billion market, which once yielded several deals a week and padded portfolios across the world from PIMCO to UBS, is all but dead. And offshore investors are swallowing most all of the losses. Again, the Chinese are making sure that Evergrande does not pay foreigners, but keeps trying to build the property. It makes sense. Completely against any kind of business law. And there are people who are starting to sue, but China really doesn't care. China's removing themselves from the U.S. markets as well. Companies that are listed on like the stock exchange, they're starting to pull those off. Evergrande creditors left with few options as Beijing sets the agenda. It's controlled by the state. That's where we are. It's crazy. Again, I can't stress enough, get silver in your own possession. As far as cryptos are our future. I don't know where they're going between now and after the crash. I know after the crash, you'd be damn happy that you had some good ones in your own possession. If you have DeFi, those will be gone. Tether will be gone. Stable coins, I don't. The thing about a stable coin and why they're so popular is people think you can trade in and out of them and not cause a taxable event, but it is a taxable event. When you sell Bitcoin into a stable coin, you pay the taxes at the time of that sale. I know that most people don't pay their taxes, but that's what your accountant will tell you need to do. So stable coins, once that starts being enforced, well, any sale of a crypto is a taxable event, unless you're swapping the exact same crypto for the exact same crypto, like a wallet change or something like that. That's really not. See, it gets complicated. At a minimum, that would be a like-kind exchange. But changing wallets, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what the tax people say about that. Well, I was changing the wallet, but you got to prove ownership of the history of that crypto. It's gonna be tough to tackle, but that would instantly kill all the stable coins, because that's really the only thing they're used for, is to park money on the side while you're waiting to make your crypto trades. But every crypto trade is a taxable event. So I don't think many people would use any stable coins. They go to gold and silver if they want to keep their money in a safe place. So the traders use stable coins, but they better track everything they do, because Gary Gensler ain't gonna back down. Unless the whole system falls apart, then it's anybody's game. I did post the latest Ginny Moonstone stuff. I can't say this out loud, but you can see from this picture what that has to do with. Also, understanding human history has never been more important. So much going on. I just on my trip back from Oklahoma City, I listened to the audio tape of Graham Hancock's one of Graham Hancock's books. Amazing stuff. Clearly, all these megalithic cities and pyramids and temples from around the world that were all built at the exact same time, and we can't do it today. And supposedly, these people never talked to each other, and they were just hunter gatherers. It's all a lie. So check that out, and Jenny and I talk about the cataclysm that's coming and the timing of it. Go check that out at roadtoruta.com. If you're not a member of the Road to Ruta, go to roadtoruta.com. Click on subscribe today. And we're currently giving away, while they last, and while silver's under $30, the Ruta Lives coin, coolest coin ever made, double struck, hand-painted heart, right where it belongs, right in Ruta's chest. And that will be a coin worth a lot of money when the Road to Ruta theory is proven to be correct, which I believe it is. Absolutely 100%. So you want to know what the Road to Ruta theory is? Go to roadtoruta.com, and all you got to do is there's a whole bunch of stuff. There's a Cliff Hyde video you can watch. A whole bunch of cool stuff. But if you go down to what is the Road to Ruta theory, I'll walk you through how I came to understand what I do about our monetary system for the last 100 years, and nobody got it right. There's bits and pieces of it, absolutely. G. Edward Griffith's book was a groundbreaking accomplishment, but he got it wrong as to the motivation. It wasn't greedy bankers. It was scared bankers because they found so much gold in the Grand Canyon. Terrified. And that's what's going on. And that's why everybody's so afraid today, is that even though we have the assets, we have all the gold we need for an amazing future, it's that transition from here to there, and who wins and who loses. The Fed wants no winners. So that's why they're stopping the U.S. Gold and Silver Eagle program. Because if you're ahead of this curve, you're out there buying them, you have the money of the future. In lieu of that, if you don't want to pay those high premiums, I probably wouldn't, get yourself some physical silver in your own possession, because that ratio is going 1-to-1, at least 1-to-1. And right now it's 80, 90-to-1. So no brainer. Anyway, this is Bix Weir. RoadToRuta.com.